it's SUHASHANI here and welcome back to my channel. I hope you're good, I hope you're well and that life is bliss. In today's video we are talking about it's a books haul. It's about time we talk about books. And yeah, I think I should disclaim, these aren't books that I've recently purchased. It's been a collation in my TBR and I just haven't had time to read them. But I'm gonna make time because we've got a reading goal for this year, in the new year. It's quite a lot. It's quite a lot actually. And my aim is to get it down to 3 or 4 books before I start buying more and adding more to my collection. I'm trying to figure out my background. I feel like on my 3rd video, yeah, my 2 other videos, it's just different backgrounds. The idea and vision is this is my bookshelf and I want it kind of filled with books. So right now it's empty. But these are the ones that I have at the moment that I need to go through and read. Grab a cheeky cuppa, grab a nice warm beverage, and we're gonna get started. So this is actually called Sophie's World by Jostein Gaarder. This was actually a recommendation from one of our neighbours and we went into the discussion about philosophy. She really likes knowing about philosophical concepts and deeper thinking, and I was like, oh, you know, I actually studied philosophy and ethics in A-level and I really enjoyed philosophy, and I was like, oh, you know, like I haven't heard of this before. And I think it's actually tailored more to young adults / teenagers, but because it's about philosophy and it's very much thought-provoking questions and narration style, I was like, yeah, like I'm down for that. I'm gonna add that in my TBR. When 14-year-old Sophie encounters a mysterious mentor who introduces her to philosophy, mysteries deepen in her own life. Why does she keep getting postcards addressed to another girl? Who is the other girl? And who, for that matter, is Sophie herself? To solve the riddle, she uses her new knowledge of philosophy, but the truth is far stranger than she could have imagined. An addictive blend of mystery, philosophy and fantasy, Sophie's World is an international phenomenon which has been translated into 60 languages and has sold over 40 million copies. From what I do know, a conversation between Sophie, who's 14, with this mysterious person who's been in contact, and I think they're conversing through letters. It's quite small print. It's quite small print. I didn't realise that. Yeah, it's quite a lot. Who has been conversing with this mysterious person in the form of letters or postcards or some sort of written connection. And the theories or concepts that are being discussed goes from Plato, I think a bit of Descartes, the meaning of life, and about herself, self-reflection, and very much is back and forth in terms of theory, humanity, and just living life, and her curiosity and addressing that curiosity and really trying to promote critical thinking as well. So that's kind of all I know. There's Aristotle here, there's talks of God, there's Socrates. So in terms of theology, I think it might be quite spot on. I think it's quite nice because you think from a young kid's perspective, you know, if they're thinking about life or if they're asking their parents certain questions, and you're also just, in terms of deep thinking, sometimes you just might not know, like, how do I address certain things. Quite nice that in this book, as a 14-year-old, she's innocently asking all these questions about life. She might be questioning God, you know, she might be asking this way of living and all these Greek mythology or concepts. The other flip side is she's getting a structure, she's getting a response, and it will be really interesting for me to see like how her answers or how her questions are being addressed, and how you would even tailor that to a child's perspective on life. In terms of philosophy, I haven't really dived back into that world or brushed up my knowledge, so I feel like this is quite a good starter again for me to have a reminder of what I've learned, what I've studied, and explore that interest in terms of reading other academics when it comes to philosophy. So yeah, I'm really looking forward to this one. This book is The Adventures of Amina al-Sirafi, and this is by Shannon Chakraborty. I have heard of Chakraborty, but I haven't had a chance to read any of the books written. And I also saw at the bottom R.F. Kuang. She mentions fantasy at its best, and I'm a fan of her. I really am, and I've got one of our other books on the list as well to read. Very, very well known, so it won't be a surprise when I start talking about that one. But yeah, I picked this up and I was just like, wow, what a beautiful cover. I think everyone knows if a book cover looks nice, I'm already there. I already gravitate towards it, and I just think I was in my fantasy era at the time, and I still am. So when I saw this and I was like, RF Kuang commented on it, and I was like, oh, I haven't read Chakraborty and I really want the opportunity to. I thought this is a good size voyage type of novel that I could get myself into. I had a plan to read it last year, especially around October, autumn time, but unfortunately I just didn't get around to it. So I really want to pursue this book for this year. This is the epic story of one of the Indian Ocean's most notorious female pirates. Amina al-Sirafi has survived backstabbing rogues, vengeful merchant princes, several husbands, and one actual demon to retire peacefully with her family to a life of piety and motherhood. But when she is offered a job no bandit could refuse, she jumps at the chance for one final adventure that will make her a legend. Yet the deeper Amina dives, the higher the stakes, for there's always risk in wanting to seize one last chance at glory, and the price might be your very soul. Gotta show you the map. Look how cool that is. This is world building at its finest. When you know that there's a map in a book, you know you need like 2 cups of coffee to get through it and really just jump into the world. A Tree Grows in Brooklyn by Betty Smith. I mentioned it in my Christmas video, and yeah, this is one of those other novels that I have seen people talk about on YouTube in the book world, and it's one of those reads that you just have to read, and it's very impactful, and the story, the development, and just experiencing my understanding, just experiencing the realities and rawness of life. So this is The Morning Star, the first book of the Morning Star series by Karl, knausgard. So this is interesting. I feel like this book is very well known, and Knausgard, but I also feel like not a lot of people talk about this book enough. But then I don't know, maybe I'm just on the wrong side of the internet, so I don't know. But from what I understand, this very much is, I guess, supernatural, aliens, mystery, sci-fi, and it's really intriguing. I want to come out the other end and be like, I feel like it's one of those concept type of reads. But yeah, I'm gonna let you guys know what you think of this. So last night a new star appeared in the sky, the morning star. During a summer weekend in southern Norway, friends, families and lovers are mesmerized by the arrival of a blazing, mysterious star. Arne and Tove are at their beach house with the kids. Jostein is out drinking while his wife, Turid, works a night shift on a psychiatric ward. And Catherine, a priest happily married for years to Gort, finds that she no longer wants to go home. When a ritual murder is discovered in the forest, a boy runs screaming through town, and Catherine is asked to lead the empty funeral of a man she's only just met. It's clear that powerful forces are at play. What darkness is made visible by this sudden star, and where will it end? Oh, okay. I mean, that's intriguing, right? That intrigued me, and I was like, whoa. I mean, I was thinking, do I buy the other 2? I think there's 2 other books in the series now, but then I was like, no. Let me read the first one. Let me commit to reading the first one. Let me see how it is, if the vibes are there, if I connect with the story, and then we'll go from there. But I feel like, yeah, it's one of those type of novels. So I would say this is my wild card in my TBR at the moment. This is the Empusium by Olga Tokarczuk, and Olga is a winner of the Nobel Prize in Literature. To be honest, it's a story. It really drew to me. Again, it's something that seems enigmatic, very much one of those like mind-bending sort of novels, and I think the best time to read this is October, during Halloween, during the fall, whatever kind of time frame, season. I do want to just read this because it's another intriguing novel. I really want to just be one of those people who have read this book and come out the end and be like, whoa, like, is this some mind trip, you know? In September 1913, a young Pole suffering from tuberculosis arrives at Wilhelm Opit's guest house for gentlemen, a health resort in the Silesian mountains. Every evening, the residents gather to imbibe the hallucinogenic local liqueur and debate the great issues of the day. Do devils exist? Are women born inferior? War or peace? Meanwhile, disturbing things are happening in the guest house and the surrounding hills. Someone or something seems to be watching, attempting to infiltrate this cloistered world. Little does the newcomer realize, as he tries to unravel both the truths within himself and the mystery of the sinister forces beyond, that they have already chosen their next target. Again, like, it's just one of those reads I just want to know. I really want to know, and I'm happy to be patient. I'm happy to take my time. Diary of CEO, and his interview was with Annie Jacobsen, and she goes into nuclear war, in depths of it, what happened, symptoms, like the current circumstance of the world at the moment and world leaders. And obviously Stephen went into her book, which is The Nuclear War. If such a terrible thing ever happened, like within seconds or within minutes, you wouldn't even know, it would all just be wiped out. So I was like, okay, like I want to know more about this now. Like, I'm really interested. I thoroughly enjoyed the podcast episode, and I was like, okay, I actually want to read her book, and I want to hear what she has to say, and I want to see how this all works, and to gain knowledge in a subject where I honestly don't know anything about it at all. This is one of those books where I'm like, okay, if I want to learn and develop my poetry or find inspiration, I like to dive into other poets and their work, but also anything he says. Like, I'm not an obsessed fan or anything like that. I'm a respectful person at a distance in terms of admiring his work, but at the same time, I'm also like, a lot of the Insta video quotes that I see or that come up on my explore page, it's of him doing interviews or like on podcasts, and the pockets of wisdom that he has, you know, whether that's through resilience, failure, rejection, marriage, relationships, love, like anything. He says it in such an effortless way, and the way that he speaks, and just like what he's sharing, it really makes you think. And I'm like, wow, he wrote a book. It's got two of my favorite things, poems and praying. So I was like, how can I not get this and actually see his material and continue getting those pockets of wisdom? Hopefully down the line, one of my ambitions or one of my goals is I'd love to self-publish a poetry book. It's really nice just to gain inspiration from others who have done that and who have achieved that, and just to see how they've done it as well, and to learn from them. I read Babel and I fell in love. I need to read Yellowface, and the reason why I haven't read Yellowface is because I think so many people were talking about it for so long, and I was like, I just want the noise to kind of go away, and then for me to sit down and read it. I don't know why. And the same thing was with Babel. I didn't buy it at the time where everyone was hyping about it, everyone was talking about it on Instagram, YouTube, like doing their videos. I had it for a while, and then I read it when there was no noise, and I just fell in love with it completely. Fell in love with her writing, fell in love with her as an author, and I was like, oh my god, your mind is just so beautiful, and the way you articulate yourself and how you're able to storytell, and also quite heavily academic in the way that the story was told in Babel, with literature and translation, languages. She's just insane. She's just honestly insane, and what an inspiration as an author, as a young writer. So again, with her third one, I'm like, oh, I don't want to read it when the hype was there. I want to read it a bit after. So that's kind of what I've done. Guys, look at that. I don't have a lot of books that are like beautiful editions, but this one, I was like, I'm getting it in hardback. I just can't not get it in hardback. Grad student Alice Law has only ever had one goal: to become the brightest mind in the field of analytic magique. But the only person who can make her dream come true is dead, and inconveniently in hell. And Alice, along with her biggest rival, Peter Murdoch, is going after him. But hell is not as the philosophers claim. Its rules are upside down, and if she's going to get out of there alive, she and Peter will have to work together. That's if they can agree on anything. Will they triumph or kill each other trying? I feel like I've got a good sense of what it's going to be about and the plot in a more deeper level, but I don't want to tell you guys because I don't want to ruin it for you. And I think it's something like this novel, fantasy, dark academia. It's a self journey, and you just got to go through it on your own and then come out and make your own thoughts and decisions on whether you like that type of genre or not. But yeah, I'm really looking forward to this one. I'm looking forward to all these books, but this one really especially, if it's anything like Babel, I'm gonna eat it. I'm literally going to eat it. So yeah, I'm really looking forward to it. And that concludes today's video. I hope you guys enjoyed this one. I hope you enjoyed the books that I have shown / potential recommendations for you guys, and to start following me on a reading journey. Yeah, I'm really excited to get into these books. I'm very much have the headspace of I want to start doing reading wrap-ups and book reviews, because it's something that I just enjoy watching, and I would love to share my thoughts and my opinions on novels and give ratings. So yeah, I've got the current book that I'm reading at the moment, which you guys would have seen in my last video, and I have made a lot of progress since. So I'm excited to even share what I think of this one, which I would recommend already, but I want to see how it goes. So yeah, I hope you guys enjoyed this one, and I will see you in my next video. Bye.